Hello folks, I have a few hints to share with you. A few learnings from the Aliner traveling. As a lot of you know, I raised up my wheels, or raised up the trailer 4 inches and put 15-inch wheels on it. It's got huge wheels on it. But one of the things I also did was on the back, I had the guy that raised up the frame, he put a big 4-inch piece of steel under the frame, reinforced the frame so it could take a little more stress on the bumpy, rocky roads. He put a hitch receiver on the back so that I can put and so I put this bike rack and my bike, which is a fairly heavy mountain bike. It's got great big tires. So I put the bike rack and the bike on the back, and the trailer acted just a little bit strange. It seemed to have a little rear end wobble, just a little, not much. I mean, it's a lightweight trailer, right? But when I brought it home and with it all set up, I put the trailer on the scale to see what the tongue weight was. You can see the scale set up there and how I do it. It's just regular bathroom scale. The tongue weight should be somewhere around between 200 and 300 pounds. But with that bike on the back, the tongue weight was changed to 140 pounds. Now I know my trailer, I weigh it periodically when it's full and I go camping. My trailer weighs 2,300 pounds, carrying water and everything. So that's pretty heavy. And the front end, the tongue, the weight on this tongue to keep the trailer stable should be around 10 to 15% of the weight of the trailer. So it should be between 200 and 250. And when it's 140 pounds, 150 pounds, it's really too light. So I took the bike rack off and the bike, and now it's 221 pounds. So that bike that only weighs about 60 pounds on the back end, with the total leverage and everything on that trailer, really does a job on your tongue weight. So take a look at that, and if you haven't weighed your tongue, that's all you got to do. Most bathroom scales will go to over 300 pounds. I just put it on a board and then put the tire on the board and crank it down. You got to crank it down fast enough so that it'll read without turning off. At least my scale turns off. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that I learned this weekend. This weekend we went to the Overland Expo in Arrington, Virginia. About a 4.5 hour ride for us. So we didn't plan on spending the whole weekend there because it's definitely ghetto camping. You're packed like sardines in a big field, camping with everybody else. In fact, I had a guy in a tent right next to the trailer. I barely walk around the trailer, and I had a lady with 3 kids in a tent right in front of the car. I couldn't pull the car forward 3 feet. And then I had a couple, I think from Germany or Finland, were behind me, and they had a 6-year-old that cried like for 2.5 hours from 10 o'clock till midnight, screaming and crying. Just they couldn't get her to sleep. She didn't like the dark. She didn't like the campground. She didn't like anything. But Akela and I had fun. We had some good stuff, and we'll show you the video in a minute. But the other thing I had to do is to level the trailer was extremely difficult, and I wanted to leave it attached to the car so I can make a quick escape the next day. And I have levels on the side right down here. Let me zoom into those. And so I know exactly how level the trailer is, and it was off level just one of those notches. Not very much at all. Usually I get the bubble so it's touching the middle, and the bubble was one notch away from the middle. And my fridge wouldn't work. I was pretty surprised that I couldn't keep the temperature in the fridge. It kept going up all day long, and it was a hot day, sunny day. The fridge was on the shady side. I had the fans going and everything, and I could not keep it cold on propane. So finally I did raise the tongue of the tongue up. I had to disconnect from the car and raise the tongue up so it was completely level, and then the fridge immediately went from 48, I think it was, at its peak. It was going down a degree every hour, so it really cooled down pretty fast after that. And by dinner time it was down to 32 degrees again, and my eggs were probably frozen, but that's because I had it cranked all the way high to try to get it to work. But if your fridges don't work the way you think they should just make sure you've got real levels on your trailer and you really know how to level it so that it is level. Because the way it works is it heats up some ammonia, which goes up into a cooler thing, and then it comes down this pipe like this. And if that pipe isn't slanted in both directions, it just doesn't get down, and actually you can cause it to crystallize up in there, and then it plugs up and then you can't use it at all. But something to know. All right, so we went to the Overland Expo. It's a whole bunch of people who believe they should be able to drive through the woods and stop wherever they want to and set up camp with tents on top of their things, and it's basically four-wheel drive. It's the etiquette right now is to follow established trails or roads, and approved trails or roads. It's not just blasting through the forest. There is an etiquette to it. Yes, there are people who break the etiquette and just plow through the woods. Those people need to be arrested and fined with trespassing. But watch this. This is some of the equipment that they're selling for overlands, four-wheel drive travel through the wildernesses and through the state forests and stuff. We've done a little bit. We'll have some videos on it soon. Watch this. Here it goes. We went last year and it was a complete mud fest, and the year before that it was at the Biltmore Estates and it was a mud fest there too. But this year, with 5 weeks of no rain, we figured it'd be nice and dry and it'd be a good thing to go to. 5 hours away. So we took the trailer and spent the one night. We got there, we took off Friday and got there pretty early, around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And actually the campsite, the campgrounds are half the expo. All the way that people have to camp, whether they have rooftop tents, RVs, little tents that attach to the car, the trailer tents, all these neat things. But the expo is pretty big in itself. This is the expo and all the people selling stuff. And then next to the expo is a test track they teach four-wheel drive technique and recovery technique and how to get out of the things. And they have all sorts of classes and instruction on stuff. So it's a pretty good deal to go if you're really into four-wheeling and you want to know how to do stuff. But I'm not really big on shopping. I'd rather go just to see what's out there and get ideas for what I want to do with my equipment. And I'm definitely, changing a lot of my equipment for the use. One of the things I forgot about the previous years when it was a mudfest, I had Akela as a 6-month-old puppy, and there are a lot of dogs. People bring a lot of dogs to these things. They encourage it. They say it's okay, no problem. But there were a ton of dogs, and Akela's at that age where he just wants to play with everybody. And he had some fun with a couple of dogs, but for the most part, it's you got to keep him on leash, and it's not easy to do video and walk around with him. Although it's great training. It's best training in the world for a dog to be in control under those situations. But there was a little bit of everything there, and I mean, there were tools and stickers and rooftop tents and trailer tents and suspensions and all sorts of things you could do. And this is Lifestyle Overland. He's a big YouTuber, big YouTube channel, gonna be 200,000 subscribers, and this is his car that he drives that I'm trying to make mine just like it. But that's Kevin standing there in front of the trailer, and here's his little daughter sitting right in front of the camera playing with Akela. And he's a good guy. He's down home Tennessee boy, and he and I talked for quite a while about YouTubing and getting overlanding and stuff like that. He's had some tough luck in the last year. They tried to buy an RV motorhome, and it had a leaky roof that just destroyed the inside of it before they could even live in it. But anyways, we had fun talking to him for a while, and that's really why you go to these places, to kind of talk to other people and figure out what they do and how you do it. And then we got back out looking at some of the stuff, the way people put bikes on things. I'm trying to figure out how to get my bike to go with me. And some of the really neat little trailers that pop up and pop out. But everybody was selling something. There's all sorts of things at this place. So we decided to go back to the car. I put Akela in the car for dinner. It was getting cool. And a beautiful moon come up, full moon going across the thing. And then the next morning, it's the morning dog walk. And water the road to keep down the dust a little bit. It was covered in dogs. And people are arriving. And all sorts of things. More dogs, more people. Flying to the Porta-Johns is never a good idea. Especially in the morning. This is the very definition of ghetto camping. You don't have more than a few feet between you and your neighbors. We got it level after a few extra blocks under the wheels. We had to build a ramp for it to get up. But we did get it level. And then we found out that it wasn't level front to back, and the refrigerator was not working. Could not get the refrigerator to cool. So now we've got it level and the refrigerator works. We got it back down to 34 degrees. Well, folks, I appreciate you coming by to watch my video. If you keep coming, I'll continue to throw out videos, and keep coming back and I'll throw out more. We had a good time at the show, and I'm hoping that you'll have enjoyed the video. Could be some ideas in here for you in the future. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. If this type of thing is good for you, leave me a comment, let me know what you liked, and we'll be going to more. Thanks again, bye bye.